Greetings, math fans. All right, so this is the last day of Chapter 8, and basically our topic is called, so I'm going to write Day 8. Our topic is called Discriminant. And you actually might think of the word like discrimination, right? It's kind of interesting word, but discriminant means you're trying to figure out the differences between things. You're discriminating to see what's going on. What is the difference between the different parts of the solution? So let me explain kind of what we're doing here. Before I actually even get into this work, I've got three scenarios. And you don't even need to write this down. Just kind of pay attention for this in a second here, okay? So if I said a solution is where it crosses the x-axis. Okay, a graph. So I'm going to draw a parabola because a lot of these are x squareds, which are parabolas. So if I draw this parabola, it's like y equals x squared. In this case, it's probably y equals x squared minus 3, for example. Okay, I have two solutions. 1, 2. So we say this one has two real solutions. That's what this graph is. Now, you could have a way where it actually just hits it in one spot. It crosses the x-axis one place here. Okay, right here. Just one place. So with this one, we say we have one real solution. And then we have a problem where it doesn't cross it. It goes above it. So it doesn't cross, so we don't have any real solutions. But in this case, we actually say we have two imaginary solutions. Okay? So these are basically there are three cases: two real solutions, one real solution, or two imaginary solutions. And this is what we're going to be talking about. So this is what you're going to give me: that one, or that one. Okay? So let's actually start out with how do you find the discriminant. So let me kind of clear this off here. And if I actually want to find the discriminant, so this is the discriminant. First of all, I'm going to write out the quadratic formula. X equals opposite of b. We talked about this yesterday. Plus or minus the square root of, and I'm going to do this in a different color, b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay? So what I wrote in red, which is this guy right there, okay, not including the square root, just the b squared minus 4ac. Okay, so again, really important. B squared minus 4ac. Gonna put that in bold again. That is the discriminant. That's all you plug in. B squared minus 4ac. So it's part of the quadratic formula. And let's think. Again, this is kind of thinking logically a little bit. Just kind of pay attention to this. You don't need to necessarily write this down. You definitely need to write this down. That b squared minus 4ac. So that is what the discriminant is. So think about it. If this number underneath the square root is let's say it's let's say 4. If I actually have a number, let's say it's 2 plus or minus the square root of 4 over 8, for example. Okay? Do you guys agree? Square root of 4 is 2, so you're going to say 2 plus 2 over 8. So I'm going to have two answers. I can say 2 plus 2 over 8 and 2 minus 2 over 8. Do you guys agree with that? Right? So I have really two answers. And of course, if I simplify this, is 4 over 8 or 1/2. 2 minus 2 is 0. So I have two answers of 0 and 1/2. So that gives me two real solutions. So let's say this number came out to be 0. So it's 2 plus or minus the square root of 0 over 8. Well, isn't 2, so the square root of 0 is 0. So isn't 2 plus or minus 0 over 8? It doesn't matter if it's plus 0 or minus 0. It's going to give me the same thing. So 2 over 8 is 1/4. So this has one answer. Okay, so again, down here is two answers and two real answers. This one is one real answer because it has one answer. And then I can also do a problem like this, and I can say 2 plus or minus the square root of, let's just say negative 36 over 8. What's the square root of negative 36? It's 6i. So 6 plus or minus, or 2, sorry, 2 plus or minus 6i over 8. So do you guys agree I really have two answers here as well? I have 2 plus 6i over 8 and 2 minus 6i over 8. And what are these? Right? Those are two imaginary solutions. Okay? So the I gets, when you have an imaginary solution, that's with an I, right? So just to highlight this, notice, look what's under the square root. And this is what the whole thing is. So do you guys agree that this problem I just did here, there's a negative under the square root? This one I did on top here, it's a positive I did under the square root. And this one is 0. So there are my three cases. So the three cases, which, and I'm going to summarize all this in a second, but basically the three cases are only when you substitute and you plug into b squared minus 4ac. Okay? So that's all you're going to do. You're going to substitute into b squared minus 4ac. You're going to get an answer, which is your discriminant, and then you're going to say, oh, is it positive? Is it negative? Or is it 0? Okay? So let me kind of erase all this stuff here, and I want to write down now the main part here, which is the discriminant. Okay? So discriminant. Okay, so the discriminant is, I'm going to put this in bold, b squared minus 4ac. So here's the deal. Okay, it can be, it can come out to be a positive number. So if that's a positive number, you're going to say two real solutions. Okay, you got to say all three words. Two real solutions. If the number comes out to be negative, you're going to say two imaginary solutions. Okay, again, those exact words. And if it's 0, you're going to say one real solution. So one real solution. Okay? So that's it. This is kind of the summary here, guys. So you're literally going to plug it into b squared minus 4ac. You're going to look to see if it's positive, if it's negative, or it's 0. So you're going to give me two things. You're going to give me the answer to this. So you're going to figure that out and give me a number. You might say 5. If it's 5, then you're going to say, oh, two real solutions. If it comes out to be negative 5, oh, you're going to say negative 5, and then you're going to say, oh, two imaginary solutions. If the number comes out to be 0, you're going to say 0, and then you're going to say one real solution. Okay? That's the scoop. Okay, so let's do our first problem here. And you don't need to do the whole quadratic formula. You literally just need to do b squared minus 4ac. So let's do x squared minus 5x plus 3 equals 0. So just like the quadratic formula, it's got to equal 0. This is really important. If it doesn't equal 0, you got to move stuff over. Okay? So do you guys agree A is 1, B is negative 5, and C is 3? Okay, plug it into b squared minus 4ac. That's all you do, guys. Really easy. So b squared minus 4 times a times c. Okay? So don't forget, when you're putting this in your calculator, don't just type in negative 5 squared. Make sure you type in negative 5 in parentheses squared. Because if you type in just negative 5 squared, it's going to square the 5 and then make it negative 25. And guys, this is always positive. Always, always, always positive. So if you want, you can just type in 5 squared. That's okay, because it doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. It's 5 squared. So anyway, if you type it all in your calculator in one shot with the parentheses, well, let me just do it by hand, but it's basically 25 minus 12, which is 13. So guys, this is the discriminant. Okay, that's a discriminant. It's 13. And then you look at it and say, oh, that's positive. So then you're going to say two real solutions. And that's the answer. This is what you're going to tell me right here. Discriminant is 13, 2 real solutions. That's it. What? Okay. So let me delete some of this stuff here. Okay, so let's try this one. We'll do x squared minus 3x is equal to negative 6. Okay, so what's the first thing you're going to do, guys? Better do this. Better add 6 to both sides. So you get x squared minus 3x plus 6 equals 0. Okay, A is 1, B is negative 3, and C is 6. All right, B squared minus 4 times A times C. Okay, so that gives you 9 minus 24, which is negative 15. So there you go. That's a discriminant. And what are you going to tell me? You'll look at this and you're going to go, oh, it's negative. So you're going to say 2 imaginary solutions. That's it. I mean, this is really easy, guys. You just got to plug in b squared minus 4ac. Please do not take the square root of it, because you're not doing that. You're just finding that value. You would take the square root if you're using the quadratic formula, but not to find the discriminant. Okay? So the discriminant, again, is negative 15, 2 imaginary solutions. All right, so let me do one more example here. Okay, here's one for you. We'll do 2x squared minus 8x is equal to negative 8. All right, that's cool. Okay, so 2 ways you could, well, no, let's find the discriminant. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add 8 to both sides, right? Okay, so I get 2x squared minus 8x plus 8 equals 0. Now I put it in my discriminant, so b squared, let's write a is 2, b is negative 8, and c is positive 8. All right, so we're going to say b squared, which is negative 8 squared, minus 4 times 2 times 8. So 64 minus 4 times 2 is 8. What? 64 minus 64. Hey, 0. That's my discriminant. Okay, and then look at the little thing on the left here. 1 real solution. That's it. So here's my answer for this one. Discriminant is 0, and it's 1 real solution. So that's it, math fans. That's what discriminant is. It literally tells you the number of solutions before you even use the quadratic formula. Okay? So b squared minus 4ac. And then once you do that, you look at the number, look if it's positive, negative, or 0, and determine what it is. 2 real solutions, 2 imaginary solutions, or 1 real solution, and you're good to go. Okay? That's it, math fans. Pretty easy, huh? Have an outstanding day. Adios. Goodbye.